Okay, so I wanted to make a video on why I no longer support Black Lives Matter. The first reason is because the data is distorted. The one the highest population to be killed by cops is white cast people. The most disproportionately per people who are shot by and killed by cops is American Indians, Amerindians. Black cast people are actually the second most disproportionately shot. Now, the reason why white cast people are the most killed by cops is because they have a higher population number. They are 50% of the population. So of course there's going to be in total a more encounters, and there's going to be a bigger total. But those are still people. Just because someone's experienced something in a disproportionate way doesn't negate the hundreds of white cast people who were killed by cops, many of them unarmed, over these past few decades. Now, and then for the other numbers, so these populations are disproportionately shot. Well, American Indians, Amerindians, and Black cast people, they commit a disproportionate amount of crime. If you commit a disproportionate amount of crimes, you're going to have a disproportionate amount of encounters with cops, which kind of evens out and takes away that disproportionately shot number, correct? So Black cast people are not experiencing anything extra in terms of police brutality, which is like the whole premise of Black Lives Matter. Black cast people are not experiencing anything extra. We're all just experiencing police brutality. Now, I understand why Black cast people and other people would believe that this is the case because they are disproportionately shown being killed or brutalized by cops, which is just but that is just part of the caste system, and that's just part of propaganda. Now, one of the reasons that they do that is the black versus white narrative, right? That it's clickbait, it's rage bait. They know that people are sensitive about these topics, so it's about getting views, right? This is all pushed by corporate media, and ultimately, corporate media is a business. And there's a black versus white narrative, this cop versus black cast people narrative gets emotions riled up, and they get clicks. Another reason why they do this is another form of propaganda. It's a scare tactic, right? They want black cast people to be in a constant state of fear, which would put them in a state of passivity and submission, because black cast people are more prone to resisting tyrannical authority. So this is a way to scare black cast people into submission. Look, we can kill you and we can get away with it. Okay, that was a tactic. They just never. It's a tactic. They never expected that that there would be this level of backlash to that, because they've been getting away with that for decades. But with the increase in cell phones and people being fed up, there was that huge eruption, and now that's not going to work as well as a scare tactic. So another form of propaganda is that it makes us a good scapegoat. So, and it makes us a good scapegoat. Um, there's this criminality and there's this heightened emotion around it. So then people in their minds are focusing on us. We're the bad guys. While they're focusing on us, people can do all their other shady activities. Now, all these other propaganda tactics go into this last propaganda tactic where we do experience something extra. This is to the scare tactics and the stigmatization was put in place to make us easier to be designated and used as prison labor. Now, again, the prison industrial complex affects everyone. It targets everyone, but it does have a preference for black cast people for various reasons that I won't get into. But we have been designated as a prison laborer caste. And employing those tactics made it easier for us to be pumped into the prison industry. So, but that's not the basis for Black Lives Matter. It's the basis for Black Lives Matters is this extra police brutality, this extra murder by cop, which is not an actuality. It's not occurring. If these numbers are true, why haven't we seen dead videos of white cast people being killed? Yes, there's the rare video, but not constantly broadcasted by corporate media. Sometimes they'll leak through because of social media, but we don't see these snuff films of other populations like we do. After these mass shootings, we don't see the dead body. They don't show the dead bodies, but they're willing to show the dead bodies of black ass people to dehumanize us and to scare us and for entertainment. It has become an entertainment genre and for rage bait and clickbait and for views. So, but even with that, so Black Lives Matters doesn't really acknowledge that. And then everyone has their lot. Even if we experience in that, each population has their own cross to bear in a sense. So yes, I do believe that we have extra targeting for the prison industry. We're preferred for the prison industrial complex. But look at Amerindians, American Indians. Tens of thousands of them went missing in this past decade. Okay? They were preferred for human trafficking and for these serial killers. We're aware that these people, that a lot of these Amerindian women have been murdered, right? They were preferred for that. They were preferred for people to commit sexual assaults, right? So every population has this different burden. Let's look at Latino or like Mestizo Americans. They're kind of rendered invisible. It's like this almost family dynamic. In a family, there's that kid who's the scapegoat. There's that kid who's the golden child, and there's the kid who's just like neglected. They're invisible. Latinos, Amerindians, they had that invisible experience. Amerindians, Latinos, Mestizos, they have that, what stems from being that invisible, neglected population. Okay, they're also targeted, they're also scapegoated. People bring up MS-13 for a reason. They were targeted in mass shootings, but there's less of, they don't have a whole entire campaign that's centered on them, right? And then even included in that, they are the ones that are disproportionately shot by cops. Then Asians, a lot of these Asian populations are the trophy child, the golden child. They're the model minority, right? So then you get people lost in that who are supposed to. People are committing suicide because they can't live up to that status. Parents are killing their children because they're dictating their children's life. You're going to be a doctor and lawyer. So there's that pressure. There's the people who are lost from that. A lot of Asians have a lower income, but they're disregarded because they're considered the model minority. And so everyone has their own cross to bear. So I, even if there was a new movement for around police brutality that centered black cast people, I wouldn't support that either. I support just um, fighting for human rights, fighting for civil rights, fighting for law enforcement reform, for defunding police and creating a new force. Okay, we can, instead of law enforcement, we can create law monitors, something in between cops and social workers who focus on prevention and de-escalation and mediation, and they primarily just monitor the law, and nonviolent crime should just be ticketed. You shouldn't go to jail for every little thing. But that law enforcement reform, that police reform, I can fight for that without ever mentioning a color or an identity group, an identity tribe. And that reform would impact and affect everyone. And then lastly, that actually leads to the fifth decision, or the fifth reason why they um, disproportionately frame this black versus white, cop versus black cast narrative, is because the conquer and divide. It's totally reasonable and sensible for black cast people to think that they're disproportionately experiencing police brutality. So it makes sense that we created Black Lives Matters, and that they want to center themselves. But that's a divide and conquer strategy. You putting all this energy and focus that you have to focus on yourself. Black, 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 black. It's preventing us from uniting. Shouldn't we all unite to uh, reform law enforcement? But we never do that because every population feels like they have to focus on themselves. That's why they're pushing this black on Asian crime narrative, even though that's 0.0001% of the 46 million black cast people in America. And then they have white and black cast people fighting against each other. No, it's you who is committing these crimes. You are crimes, when it's like 0.0001% of us, and we should be focusing on why cops are not doing foot patrols in these neighborhoods to prevent the crimes in the first place. So that's the fifth reason. It's conquer and divide. People feel like they have to focus on themselves, and then that need to focus on yourself, on your population, on your demographic, on your identity tribe, prevents us from uniting and just reforming the entire system. And then lastly, the reason why I don't support Black Lives Matter is because basically black is just too broad of a term. Black Lives Matter is kind of pro black adjacent, and I'm just not pro black. When you're pro black, you're protecting people who don't deserve protection. And when I'm pro black, it's me engaging with people I want nothing to do with. I don't truly believe that there is a black community. There might be black communities, but there is not in this unified group. I saw the people supporting Black Matters that were rejecting queer people. Um, I know a lot of Black cast people don't like Black atheists or Black witches or Black pagans. So I'm not going to invest this energy into protecting Black people, Black cast people as a whole. I know that, and then there's the issue of protecting patriarchal Black cast men. Like a lot of these people that we were marching for don't care about anyone if you're not, they don't care about us or other people if you're not a man or a Black man. So why am I going to support and protect you like that? And I didn't respect a lot of you, the level of looting that was going on. And then look at that. Basically, Trump called for these looters to be assassinated. He basically tweeted, shoot them on sight, which is not law and order. Cops can be judge and jury. Someone could have been like trying to retrieve their child and the cop thought they were doing something and shot them. Whatever. You're not supposed to do that and you're not supposed to call for assassinations. And no one called for roof Koreans or assassinations when people stormed the Capitol. So, but a lot of take that, but then a lot of these people are supporting Lil Wayne and Lil Pump still, even though those rappers supported Trump. So a lot of these Black cast people, a lot of these, especially Black cast men, are supporting rappers who supported Trump who called for their assassination. Like, I don't I don't think that. I don't think Black cast people are exactly oppressed anymore. I think we're a conquered people with Stockholm syndrome and who make bad decisions, who make bad choices, personal bad choices and collective bad choices. That's the actual state of reality. So supporting Black Lives Matter is supporting these people who basically think they're a caste above many other people and are sustaining this very system that is pushing them into the business industry and is destroying all of us. So basically, that's why I don't support like Black Lives Matter. I don't support. I'm not pro-black. I don't. I'm not Afrocentric. I'm not Black Unity. I think we should consider ourselves citizens first before our ethnic groups and our caste statuses, and that's how I'm going to approach things going forward.